There's a big new game out and it's crashing PS5s. On top of that, we're breaking down the best Black Friday deals that have leaked so far, and is the Vita store finally shutting down for good? Oh, and before we jump into all this PlayStation news, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications set to all. So if you're someone like me who loves video games, but you're more of a budget conscious gamer, Black Friday is pretty much the best day of the year for you because all the different stores like Target, Best Buy, Amazon, Walmart, they put all of the biggest games from the entire year on sale for pretty good prices. And because we're living in the year 2021, aka the year of leaks, the deals for Target and Walmart have already leaked online. We've got the entire Black Friday ad, and I picked out some of the best games you're going to be able to pick up. And remember, if you're someone who loves using Amazon versus going out to an actual store or even ordering from these stores online, you can kind of just sit and wait because Amazon tends to price match the best deals on Black Friday. So let's start out with Walmart, whose sale begins online on the 22nd and then goes through the 26th. And on the 26th, aka Black Friday, you can actually go in store and get these deals, but I've actually seen specifically with Blu-rays, a lot of them already starting early. So if you live near a Walmart and any of these games stand out to you, you might want to go check out the store. First up, The Last of Us Part 2 is $20. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the best looking games ever made, period. Like, Naughty Dog did an incredible job here, and if you're a horror fan, the gore you get to see in this game is absolutely nuts. Now, there's not a native PS5 patch, so you're just buying the PS4 version, but there was a patch that lets it run at a 60 frames per second locked on the PS5, and the combat is so much better at 60 frames per second. You get so much better reaction time. It makes you just better at the game overall. I hate that sluggish feeling of 30 frames where it feels like you move the stick and then the camera is trailing behind your stick motion. Now with 60 frames per second, it's pretty one-to-one. It's the same effect Red Dead Redemption 2 got. Star Wars Squadrons has been free on PS Plus, but if you missed it, it's $14. If you're into flight sims or you have a VR headset, this is an awesome game to try out, and the campaign in it is actually very good. If you're someone like me who watches the animated shows like The Bad Batch or Star Wars Rebels or Clone Wars, you're gonna recognize a lot of characters that show up, you're gonna recognize some of the planets, and if you've read the books like Alphabet Squadron, some characters from that show up too. So it's actually a pretty deep cut lore type story that gets the Star Wars universe right, especially again if you're into the expanded universe. Sticking with Star Wars, I'm not gonna dig too deep into this one because I've talked about it a million times here on the channel, but Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is $14. It's basically like if you mixed Metroid Prime with Dark Souls and made the whole thing a little bit easier. It's a great third-person action adventure game that has an awesome Star Wars story set between episodes 3 and 4. We do know it's getting a sequel, and man, Respawn Entertainment, what can't those guys do? This game is awesome and totally worth $15, and it has a free PS5 upgrade. One game you might have missed that you should definitely check out is Outriders. Now this is a game that I played at launch and I absolutely loved it. Going back to The Last of Us Part 2, the gore in this game is also absolutely incredible. It just looks insane. It's like kind of build like Gears of War. It's supposed to be a cover shooter, but if you play aggressively, it's way more fun. You can basically take any perk off any gun or piece of armor and store it in your bank and apply it to a gun you really like later, which I think is awesome. And it's getting a free content update today by the time you're seeing this video that adds new expeditions, gives you a full transmog system that not only works on armor, it also works on weapons. There's no microtransactions applied to that either, like in Destiny. It's totally free. So this one is totally worth $20. You should check this out for sure. One of the best rated games of the entire year so far by quite a bit is Deathloop. Now this is a PS5 exclusive for at least a year, but it's developed by Arcane Studios, who's owned by Bethesda, who's owned by Microsoft and Xbox, which is kind of weird, but this one's getting dropped again to $25, which is crazy because Sony's been running ads about dropping it to $40. We haven't seen a lot of first party exclusive stuff for the PS5 go this low. I know it's actually kind of second party, but this is a great game. I've played a ton of it. If you have not tried it out or you've been waiting for a sale, this seems like a great price for a game that came out in September. If you just saw the poster for the new Mass Effect and you're itching to play the Legendary Collection, but you had a feeling it was going to drop pretty low for Black Friday, you made the right move. This one is dropping to $25. That is a ton of content. You get the reworked Mass Effect 1. I actually beat it earlier this year and it's a really good remaster. The combat feels better. The graphics look better. Shepard, just overall, the animations look a lot better. It was an easy game to get through in 2021 for me personally, and I had never played it before. So I recommend this collection wholeheartedly because Mass Effect 2 and 3 hold up on their own, and Mass Effect 1 got that awesome remaster. My biggest recommendation easily goes to Guardians of the Galaxy, which is only $35. This game just came out in October. It got great reviews. It looks awesome. Unfortunately, it only runs at 4K 30 or 1080p 60. Those are your only two options, but the story, the gameplay, the graphics, just the scope of it all is better than most of the stuff I played this year. Right now, Resident Evil Village is my game of the year, but my number 2 is 100% Guardians of the Galaxy. It is just so good. For 35 bucks, you can't go wrong. Another game that came out in October, got pretty good reviews, and is also going to be around half off at $35 is Far Cry 6. So if you've been waiting for that one, now might be a good time to pick it up. And then finally, Back 4 Blood is going to be $25. That'll take the sting off of the fact that this game is available on Game Pass for both PC and Xbox. 25 bucks is not a lot to spend for it. It's a lot of fun. I think I put like 80 hours into it at this point, so I feel qualified to say that it is easily worth $25. And I bought the $100 premium edition on PC just because I wanted to support Turtle Rock. Now, seeing that's 25 bucks, I wish I waited just a little bit longer. That runs out a lot of the Walmart deals, so let's get into Target. Their sale starts on the 25th and goes through the 27th. Now, they have a few overlapping deals here, and some of them are a little bit cheaper, so if you hear me mention a game a second time, that's why. But starting out, we're gonna go with one of the very few PS5 games that is only available on PS5, and that's the remake of Demon's Souls that Bluepoint did. That's gonna be 40 bucks. This is an awesome game. It has great graphics, really good gameplay. If you like Souls games, you probably already have it, but if you were waiting, 40 bucks is the cheapest I've seen it. Both Guardians of the Galaxy and Mass Effect are even cheaper here at $30. I mean, if you're at Walmart and you see those games, I would pick them up for 35 because then you're only paying 10 bucks more. But if you're at Target and you see them, they're 5 bucks cheaper, which is cool. And then finally, Death Stranding Director's Cut is 40 bucks. Honestly, I think that's pretty expensive for what this game is. You should probably just go find a used copy of the PS4 version and pay for the $10 upgrade because that's going to be a lot cheaper. Those are the deals that stuck out to me, but these ads are available online. And remember, Amazon is going to have these deals as well, probably, so I'll link those down in the description. Unfortunately, the slow death of the PS Vita is continuing. So earlier this year, Sony announced they were going to shut down the stores for the PS3 and the PS Vita. You'd still be able to download the games you purchased, but you wouldn't be able to make new purchases. People obviously were upset about that, so Sony backtracked and they've kept the store open. Now that's super frustrating, obviously, because you need to get into the store to find the games that you've already purchased to download, and because the Vita uses proprietary memory cards, a lot of people are stuck with smaller memory cards because no one wants to pay $100 for a 64 gigabyte card. And honestly, that's not even big enough to hold Vita games. Like, they're pretty big. Thankfully, the store seems to be working all right here in North America and in the UK, but other prominent European countries like France are having issues, and most of Asia is having trouble accessing the store. Now, this has been going on for over a week now, and Sony has not said or acknowledged at all. So if you're in North America or the UK and you've been planning on playing some Vita games, I would download them now before this error starts affecting us. This really just sucks overall. Now, the timing here is a little suspicious because I heard on the most recent episode of Sacred Symbols, the show my friend Dustin, who's been on the channel before, co-hosts, that there's actually a hack you can do on the PS Vita that allows you to access the PlayStation Store and just download any game from it on your Vita. It sounds almost too good to be true, but this has happened before on stuff like Steam. Either way, it just sucks that Sony's giving up on this console, because when we did that video here on the channel where I compared the PS Vita in 2021 to the Switch OLED, it is crazy how much more stuff the Vita does than just the Nintendo Switch on its own. So yeah, to see Sony let the console suffer like this, it honestly just bums me out. Hopefully they have a handheld coming down the pipe at some point, because I'm sure they're sitting there like, holy crap, the Switch is doing so well and we're PlayStation. Why are we letting them take so much money from us? So if you asked me about a month ago how I thought the launch for the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition was gonna go, I would have said probably perfect, since they're PS2 games that got a very minor upscaling and it doesn't seem like something you can really easily screw up. But here we are about a week after the release of the games, and no matter what console you play them on, I think it's fair to say that this port is a disaster. Now, some of the games are faring better than others. I highly recommend my friend Jake Baldino's video on his main channel. I'll have it linked down in the description, but he played through all of the games and Vice City seems to be in the best shape, which for me personally, that's great because Vice City is the one I wanted to play, but GTA 3 and San Andreas are both a complete mess. One of the biggest issues I've seen people complaining about specifically with GTA 3 and San Andreas is the rain texture. So this looks like something you can just download off YouTube, like one of those green screen rain effects that you put over it and then Luma key it out. It just looks horrible. You can't even see 10 feet in front of you. And there are racing missions in GTA where you're basically going 100 miles per hour. And if you're racing through a city and you have to make a tight corner and it's raining, you just can't see what you're doing. And I don't know if you guys have played these games, but the racing is very challenging. Like if you're not in first place for pretty much the entire time, or you fall back at all, you just lose. So yeah, the fact that the rain makes it that hard to see is not great. Also, no matter where you play these games, it's kind of impossible to get a solid frame rate. I heard from Digital Foundry that the best way to play it on the PS5 is to get the PS4 version of the Trilogy, because it actually runs the PS4 Pro version on your PS5, which unfortunately is like 868p or something like that, just to get 60 frames per second with all the visual stuff turned on. Now everyone's kind of wondering why this port is such a mess, and I guess it comes down to the fact that A, it was obviously rushed, and B, it's not based on the original PS2 versions of the games or the Xbox versions or the PC versions. No, it is based on the mobile versions of the games. So that's explaining why they're not running as well, because they're made for phones and they've been ported over to consoles in Unreal Engine 4. And I actually played those releases when they came to iPhone way back in the day, and those ports were a complete mess, and it's the same developer. So everything's kind of coming together here exactly how you would think. And specifically with San Andreas on the PS5, there's an issue that's hard crashing people's consoles. So in the mission called Doberman, basically what happens is when the cutscene starts playing, it's hard crashing people's PS5s, and it's pretty much happening to a lot of people across the board. I don't want to say everyone, because of course there's going to be that one guy in the comments that's like, it's not happening on my PS5, but it's happening enough to people where it's getting news articles. Thankfully though, there is a workaround for this hard crash. So when you're about to start the mission, the first thing you're going to want to do is change your character's clothes. I know that sounds weird, but that's one of the big issues that's causing the crash to happen. Then if you're in quality mode, change it over to performance mode, play through the entire mission, change your clothes back if you want to, like if you liked what you were wearing before, and then from that point forward you can go back to quality mode and everything should be good, except for the myriad of other bugs that are happening in the game. Another weird thing about these ports is just overall how the graphics look. There's tons of weird joint issues, like characters bending their arms back. The face AI upscaling works on some characters, doesn't work on others. The AI upscaling they used to change the advertisements on billboards and posters has created typos and spelling errors and just gibberish. There's weird stuff like in San Andreas before, you had this fog of war kind of over the map, so you couldn't see that it's actually a pretty small map. You could basically see across the entire thing if you wanted to, but they completely removed that fog, so it just makes the whole game look weird. The same situation's happening in both Vice City and GTA 3. They changed the entire color palette of the game. The list goes on and on with the problems with this game, and it's really unfortunate because GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas are three of the biggest and best-selling games of all time, and it really just makes you nostalgic for the old Rockstar. They've said they're working on patching the definitive edition, but like at the end of the day, I think the problems run so deep that it's going to be kind of impossible to fix. So if you were looking at that one and you really want to play those games, maybe just wait for a sale at the very least. Anyway guys, that's all the PlayStation news I have for you today. Make sure you let me know what you think down in the comments below, and remember to subscribe and set your notifications to all if you haven't already. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.